Over the last few years, I have built what I think is the perfect Evo 8. This car has been nothing short of a full-on restoration, one of the biggest projects I've ever tackled, but there's one thing left that I want to do to my Evo 8. We are installing a sequential transmission into my Evo. It has been nearly a year since we had a Boston apparel drop, and that's for good reason. I was happy with the quality of the clothes we were putting out, but I knew we could do better. So I decided let's not have a drop for a very long time. I want to spend a bunch of time developing and testing new products. And well, my friends, today is the day that I'm finally ready to release these new products to the world. Now this is going to be a very, very, very limited drop. For starters, check out the new logo, a nicely refreshed logo. So we're dropping new hats. Look at the detail on these things. Beautiful silicone logo. And let's start off with my favorite item that we've ever dropped. So these are all new hoodies, all new tees. I'm super, super proud of what we came up with, and I'm very excited to see your guys' response as soon as you get these in your hands. This is my favorite piece we've ever done. Now you see the front and you might be confused. And let me show you the back so it makes sense. Soon enough, you will reach your goals and realize the goal was the pursuit. That statement right there means so much to me. As you guys seen over the last 2 years, I started buying cool cars, I bought a new house. I did all the things that I always dreamed of doing. I was finally able to achieve all of that. And I realized after all that happened, the pursuit of chasing my dreams is the fun part. And that means so much to me that we put it on a hoodie and we also put it on a tee. So those are the In Pursuit items. And this one right here, this is Bobby's favorite. Now we all know who this is. I don't even need to say it. Such an iconic photo, such an iconic driver. We had to put it on a tee, automotive passion. And on the front is the new refreshed Boston apparel logo. So we have this in tees and hoodies as well. Man, I'm so proud, I'm so happy, I'm so stoked on all this new stuff. We're also doing new jet tags, new air fresheners. The Boston V4 banner is now available to purchase. You guys have seen me run it on a few of the cars, and we've done a full restock on the shift knobs as well. The website just went live, so if any of these pieces you enjoy, hit the first link down below. Thank you guys, as always, for the support, and thank you, more importantly, for your patience as I figure out exactly what I wanted to do with the brand. In this box is my brand new Quaife sequential transmission, and I could not be more excited to get this thing in the car, go on the first test drive, and see how she feels. We also have the new shifter that we're gonna need for the sequential. And the super cool thing about this transmission, it's fully assembled. We don't need to buy another bell housing or take the bell housing off of our transmission. This thing is fully assembled, ready to bolt in and run, making it super simple. Now when it comes to transmissions, there's a few different options you can go with. There's different engagement types. You have synchro or dog engagement. You have different gear cuts, straight cut versus helical, and you have different shift selections. H pattern, like a factory car, or sequential, like this transmission here. So this transmission is a sequential, dog engagement, straight cut. I think there's about 3 different companies that make the sequential for the Evo, and I went with a Quaife. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this transmission right here is the single most expensive car part that I've ever purchased in my entire life. Now, we do have a ton of work cut out for us today. We got to get the car in the lift, pull the transfer case out, pull the transmission out, of course, get the new transmission in the car, and then we have a lot of shifter stuff to go ahead and set up. before we get the car too high up in the air, there is a few things up top that we are going to go ahead and remove. Intercooler pipe, just to get it out of the way, we need to pull off the clutch sleeve, the shifter cables, and all of the wiring that goes to the neutral and reverse switches on the transmission. It's not required, but it's definitely my preference to go ahead and pull out the entire subframe, as it gives you tons and tons of space to be able to get the transmission out. With that out of the way, now we have all the space in the world to go ahead and pull the transmission. So let's drain the gear oil, disconnect the throwout bearing clip, pull off the T-case, remove the bell housing bolts, remove the starter, and the transmission will be on the floor. Here is a nice little side-by-side 100% factory transmission that was just refreshed, and the Sequential. They look pretty similar. All the magic happens right in here. So off of the OEM transmission, we need the speed sensor, which goes right there, that front transmission mount, the rear transmission mount, and of course, the side mount that sits right there with those 4 studs. Everything that we needed off of that transmission is now installed on the new Sequential, and this thing is ready to go up into the car. So we got the transmission in the car. Before I button everything up with the T-case and the subframe, we need to deal with the shifter. So the shifter cables in the H-pattern shifter need to come out, as we need to install the sequential shifter with the single cable. Well, the last thing I wanted to do was drill into the floor, but unfortunately we had to, as the shifter that comes with the transmission is kind of a universal fit. But if you take your time and do it right, and you riv nut it, it looks factory. Now we can get that shifter securely mounted to the floor. Shifter is fully installed. It's all hooked up. Let's see how this is gonna feel. That is insane. Back to the outside, let's get the transfer case in, subframe back on, these few little goodies on, and then we need to start doing some wiring. The gear oil I was recommended to run is the 7590, and this takes right around 3 quarts total. So the gear oil is in, this thing is pretty much ready to hit the streets, but before we do, being that it's a sequential transmission, you don't really know what gear you're in unless you add a gear indicator. So they included this. It's a Geartronics indicator. You put the sensor, it's a magnetic type sensor that goes on the side of the transmission right there. And then I already ran the wiring in alongside the shifter cables to the interior. So we just need to wire this in real quick. I think it's only 3 wires. And then we should be able to fire up the car, make sure everything works. If we need to make adjustments on that shifter cable, we'll have to do that now. But then we can go on our very first drive in the Evo 8 with a new Sequential. Very curious how I'm gonna like it in this car. I've had a Sequential one other time in my life, and that was in a 1,000 horsepower EM1, which is a Honda Civic. But it was such a built car that car wasn't really fun to drive on the street whatsoever. It was pretty much a full-on drag car. So I'm very curious to see how a Sequential is going to be in a street car. I might like it, but there's also a chance I'm gonna hate it. So this here is the harness. The black already loomed side is connected to the sensor, and the open side connects to the indicator. Now I do know red is power, black is ground, yellow. As of right now, I'm not sure what that's for, but I guess we will figure that out. So we have the gear indicator right here. The car is currently in neutral, and as you can see, it's showing that it's in 6th gear. So what we need to do is go ahead and calibrate it. So on the bottom here, there's a red button. If you grab a pick and hold that in for 3 seconds, it'll go to programming mode. So now it's blinking 4 through 7. All we need to do now are 4 through 8. This transmission is a 5-speed. So as soon as it reaches 5, we hit the button again. So now we have it set to a 5-speed transmission. We're gonna put the transmission in reverse. It's showing R here, so put it in reverse. Hit the button again. It's showing neutral, so we hit neutral, hit the button again. So on and so forth. It's now showing 1. So we go to 1st gear and we hit the button. We're gonna do that for all 5 gears, and we are done calibrating the indicator. Let's finish up the interior and go on the very first rip. Not wiggling the shifter is going to be pretty weird to get used to. Let's go on a rip. Haha. So curious how loud the straight cuts are going to be compared to the Type R, because they're very loud in the Type R. So to go back to neutral, we have to pull this collar up, go forward like that, reverse, bam. Let's see if that works. Yep, that works. Back to neutral. Let's let her warm up for a sec and then go do some rips. Yep, I hear the straight cuts humming away. Ha ha ha. Just as loud as the Type R. You know what? They're quieter. I think they're quieter. That's such a nice sound though. I definitely don't mind the sound of the gears. That's what happened. I blew an intercooler pipe. Pulling this random dude's driveway. Let's see what I blew. All right, I got that all fixed up. Let's try again. I just need to commit. I need to commit to a pull. New parts always scare me. Alright. Dude, she needs some tires for sure. I thought it was like my clutch slipping, but it was definitely going sideways. Goodness gracious. This thing's a ripper, dude. And the AC was on. Brothers, I got the perfect solution if you miss gears. Watch this. Well, we broke something. Too much sauce, man. Too much sauce. This one's a little more than a blown intercooler pipe. But we made it to a side road. That's all I need. Oh. Let's go assess. This thing is violent. If you didn't tell. Something's cutting all throttle. All right, we got the laptop. I'm gonna go data log this thing and see what is going on. That's the advantage of a high-end ECU, is it's much easier to pinpoint the issue. I got so caught off guard when the radio hit my hand that I shifted forward instead of pulled back. So when you pull back in a sequential, you're going up a gear. But that was a lot going on. But the car was fine, so no issues at all. This is, by a mile, the fastest car I own right now. So while this thing is a ton of fun, every pull I'm doing right now, I'm worried about A, the factory key case exploding, which is gonna happen. It's not a matter of if, in my opinion, it's a matter of when, especially when, like, I'm banging the gears, man. It's a sequential, you're supposed to bang gears. And two, B, my stock axles. I might just go ahead and order a T-case and order axles. Thankfully, T-case on Evo is super easy to install. Literally drop the subframe, 6 bolts, the T-case is out. So I might go ahead and do that. I probably should have done it with the transmission install. Man, this thing is insane. I'm reckoning I need some tires. Now I am aware, the one thing that is keeping the stock axles and the stock T-case alive is not having an insanely grippy set of tires on it. So these are a new set of Bridgestone Potenzas. For this thing to hook up, she needs a set of radials or a set of slicks. But I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty fun going sideways all the way through second gear. It does hook pretty nice in third, but first and second, pretty much useless. Now, even though I have maybe 20-30 miles on this transmission on the street, I can honestly say I should have done this sooner. It is way too expensive That's why I didn't do it sooner. But if you're on the fence about doing a sequential versus doing like a traditional, say an H pattern dog box, I would go sequential, man. It's so fun. And you can't miss gears. It's virtually impossible to miss a gear.